When you set your standards or you set your boundaries, people are going to say, oh, you think you're all that. I am. And I don't care. I am. And I don't need you to make me feel like I am. I'm going to set this standard, and I'm going to live by this standard. And I'm not going to let anybody come into my life, not even be a business partner, not be a marriage partner, not be a girlfriend, boyfriend, and pull me down to where you are.
Good evening, Rustenburg, good evening, Bujanala, good evening, South Africa, good evening, So now, we're no longer just in South Africa, we're in Africa now. You know, like we are the biggest business show. And unfortunately, nice things, you only test them. So you only have us once a week from 6 to 7. We're the business show that brings you the best, brings you the real people. We'll bring you your typical next door person. We'll bring you movers and shakers. We'll bring you people that do things that some only do them in their minds, but they actually bring them into life. So tonight is a good one. Tonight is the best one. We've got your child. We've got your children. Ali one. Now, tonight, I mean, it's before he gets a mistake. It's a Valentine's Day. Is it Valentine's or Valentine? How do you guys spell it? It's Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah, it is Valentine.
So it's a day of love. I read that day, but we celebrate love. So how better way to celebrate love in a business show? If other hosts of business shows, they don't know how to blend the theme of love in their shows, listen and learn. Here, our theme for today is blending love with business. Blending love with business. Something that don't mix business with pleasure. No. As we're not mixing it with pleasure, we're mixing it with love.
Yeah.
As the business show. So tonight I've got in studio my guest, my brother, Theron. So you know, guys, it's very difficult to interview a PR specialist. It's very, you don't want to make mistakes. It's very difficult because you have to be careful of what you say, how you introduce him. So normally I don't want to do those things that are gonna fund me wanting.
Yeah.
I want you to introduce yourself, Theron. I don't want to, because you might say, no, gentle, you left the fact that Nikki Loko, the Pudu Adilika, primary.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, good evening, Theron, and welcome to the show. Introduce yourself to our guest.
All right. Thank you so much, Gentle. My name is Theron Rapo. I hail from Serutube village, just 20 kilometers outside Rustenburg, currently living in Tzitzing. My biography is quite long, so I'll just touch on the heads. I schooled in Serutube, went into Matsukubiani, matriculated in Ganana, Sekete 4th High School. I'm a village boy, went down to Durban to study, and then I came back to work in the province. I worked for Royal Bafokeng Administration Sports Holdings for more than 12 years until I worked for the public sector, which is the Rustenburg local municipality. Currently, I am an entrepreneur. I have a PR company which does events, PR advertising, and we are, together with my partner, are founders and distillers of a premium gin called Lindther Premium Gin. Thank you.
So let me also introduce myself. I'm a chemist by profession. So when you're teaching things like distillers,
oh yeah, definitely.
I will come to that. I want you to expand on something, because most of the time, as rural people, I'm a rural person from Malamlele.
Yeah.
Not from Malamlele, from Bulwini village.
Okay.
Malamlele.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to drive 40 kilometers
on gravel. I know, it's your typical stories that you get in villages. Punctures.
So now, typical things that happens in villages is that we cannot conceive ideas
Yeah.
and make them to fruition. That's why even now, Makiti, the inventor of Please Call Me,
Mhm.
is going up and down, because if it was the other races
Yeah.
that have done what he did, they could have got their money.
Mm.
Because for them, it is meant to be saying it's not abnormal.
Yeah, true.
You know, it's not abnormal for this person to be. So for him, he had to prove it,
Yeah.
to say, no, man, it's my idea. And then it had to go to court, to be proven in court, because as black people in particular, and I'm not going to shy away as if like economy is ours as black people. Or
Yeah.
I'm in a radio station whereby we are aware of the social ills, and currently the economy of the country is owned by white people. And we're not saying we want to be racist or anything. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Now, as a black child, for you to prove something economically, you must jump over hoops.
Yeah,
And
true.
you must jump over some fire there, and then you must die and be, because there's no reason why Makiti is not getting his money. Because us as a show, we don't care much about the current successes.
Yeah.
We want to teach people, we want to show people, the children that are listening to you from Siritu,
Yeah.
to say, Kantilena Otlamo.
Mm.
Because more often than not, we are scared of saying, well, we find ourselves in different locations, in different friendship circles.
Yeah.
We are very scared to explicitly say, Kitlakai, Kinama.
Mm.
Now, let's take it back from primary, high school. I love the fact that even high school you did it locally.
Yeah, definitely.
So take us back to that.
Okay. It started very strange because Sirutube is a very small village where well, yeah, true that is. But it's a very small village where everyone knows everyone, But
I mean, like for 30 houses.
I know. Come on, man. So when you grow up from a very humble background, you create a picture for yourself. You say, this is how I want the world to look at me, and this is how I want to look at the world. So from a young age in Sirutube, I always told myself that, in life I want to achieve. And for me to have achieved, I will have worked hard for that. So I left Sirutube. I went into a high school where, I don't even want to call it poverty. It was one of those schools where they go there because it's a low fee school paying, low school fees paying school. So I went there and I knew what I wanted to achieve. And part of what I wanted to achieve was to actually change my background at home. But at the end of the day was to fulfill myself and actually achieve my dreams. So when I left home in 2005 and I went to Durban, I remember I told my mother, I said, I'm going to Durban for 3 years. And then when I come back, I will have achieved my dream and I will have compensated for what you've lost. It was as part of your dreams to actually make sure that we get what we want, or we get at least what was, due to us, because our parents work too hard and we never really appreciate that. So yeah, that's how it was. I painted a picture for myself and I made sure that I protected that portrait to actually make it a live picture at this current moment. And that's what I'm leaving. It's not because it happened overnight, because of fate. It's because of what I had planned.
So because there's a lot of stories, and we don't give our parents enough flowers to say.
Yeah.
You mentioned something like poverty.
Yeah.
I mean, you only know that you are poor when you are comparing yourself to something, because most of us Raja, especially in the villages.
Yeah.
Raja guys, you might look down on us, but we eat.
True.
We don't normally go to bed without food.
Yeah.
It's very rare that there is a family that absolutely doesn't go to Ainabu. I mean, like I was like I'm from Bulwini. As long as we know we've got breakfast.
Yeah.
And then we will eat lunch. And then so. It's normal. So we need to give our parents their flowers for what they did
Yeah.
which they could. So you as a child, before you knew that Lady Gagas were coming to a Gagasi,
Yeah.
before you knew Rentlega was poor,
Yeah.
because you're comparing it to what you saw there,
True.
and which was not your reality.
Yeah.
But as a child, the support that you got from your family, you mentioned your mom, from like in terms of saying you were saying you always believe that you're gonna make it. You
Yeah,
always
no,
believe
definitely.
that you always believe that you want to be something extraordinary in this life. You don't want to just conform, but because ordinarily you could have went to matric or no, nakia mining, close pan,
Yeah.
glona technician, because that's what is being done, and it's not like it's a wrong thing.
Yeah.
So, take me through what differentiated you as a child. What in your mind told you to do something outside of what is typically there? Because we choose our careers based on Rebuni Malume,
Yeah.
Rebuni cousin, Rebuni Papa, Rebuni Rakhadi. I choose these careers, and predominantly in Rustenburg, growing up in Rustenburg, I never grew up here, but predominant people that I had are exposed to the mining industry, and that's the source of employment, right?
Yeah.
What made you to choose something that is not part of what they call the core skills to carry in the mine?
You are taking me fine. I don't want to go there because you know.
This is a business show, man.
Classic, yeah, in studio.
This is the business show, bro.
You know, it's an emotional story, and I know you do know. I'm actually writing a book about that because at the end of the day, it was what is it that was meant for Theron and not the others. I'm actually happy when you mention mining because I was given opportunities after matric to say come to the mines because I stayed at home for 2 years. You know, the first year I got a bursary. I did not get the space to study. The second year I got the space to study. I did not get the bursary. So the third year, then I said, no, man, this can't be. I need to make sure that I leave. And I left home to study a national diploma in photography. That was regarded as a white man's career. And not because I wanted to prove a point, but because I had a talent in that particular field. And I knew that if I followed what my heart told me, I was going to be able to achieve all these things. You know, the reason why I did not get these bursaries is because they had said, but why photography? Who else goes and study photography? And at the end of the day, it was not about poverty or it was not about anything. I said to myself, this is what I want to do and this is what I'm going to be. Most of the time, black families, they don't have graduates in their homes. And I said to myself, this generational curse must be broken. And it was going to be me who was going to do that. And I did that. Yeah. You know, I left home and I became one of the best photographers in the province, you know, after I came back. And then you look back and you say, this was not about proving to someone else, but it was about living who you are and following your dreams, you know.
And wow. I mean, like a boy in the mining industry, you go look at it.
I know. No, never.
No, something about security.
Never.
No, you're supposed to go. You know, tonight at home, when you do such a thing, they take you to church.
Nah.
And then they pray for you.
No.
You needed prayers.
No, I didn't.
I guess on a great note though now, you paved your way.
Yeah.
You knew that I'm not gonna be an artisan. I'm not gonna be a miner. I'm not gonna be this. I'm gonna
be an artist.
I'm gonna be an artist.
Yeah.
Right. And in an environment where everything is against that in terms of what success looks like.
Definitely.
Because you're gonna be an artist in Rustenburg.
Yeah.
But you manage to see that in your mind, and that's what we encourage young children to be able to say, whatever that you can, don't flow with the river where it's going.
Yeah.
Just discover yourself as a person. Now you get to KZN.
Yeah.
What's happening there? You don't even know a word of Sizulu.
I know.
I mean, like there's a University of
Northwest. I know.
There is Valinyana here. There is Tshwane there. There is UP. There is UJ there. And then you decide, no, you're a rebel.
Not really. I mean, you have your own as people, you know what you want, and through my research, I found out that the Durban University of Technology was producing good and quality artists from their Faculty of Arts and Design, and that's the only reason that made me go there. I get to Durban, I see. I mean, Rustenburg, the
How
tallest.
swim? I wanna gagazi.
No, I do not swim.
From Google.
No, you leave Rustenburg, the tallest building here is 10 stories. You get to Durban and, there's multiple story buildings. And I'm like, okay, but I'm not there. I'm there to study. It was challenging. Leaving home, you are not sure if whether what you are going to do will be successful. You are looking to succeed. 3 years is a long time because you don't know anything can happen in 3 years. And you are working against time because you want to prove to yourself and not the society that you can achieve. And the only thing that made me want to achieve was my mother and my family. And I get to Durban, I study. I mean, at one stage, I was one of the top students, in the faculty because of the reasons why I went down to Durban. I wanted to prove to myself that I can do this. And you are right. I was met with a lot of negativity. Why we load so you can just buy yourself a camera in a retail store and then take pictures. But they did not understand. And when I came back from Durban, I got a job a month after I left school because the pictures that I took, they were not just pictures. And since that day, I've never looked back. I take good pictures. I'm a well-traveled photographer. I'm sure you've seen the way I take pictures, especially when I travel. You can take those pictures.
Just like can. That's a challenge, no?
No, you can't. So I get to them and I work. I come back and I get to get a job. And that did not prove to anyone who was negative towards me to say, why go study photography? It was now starting to become reality to me to say, you are on the right track. So keep pushing. And that's what pushed me because nothing was going to stop me at that particular time. I was running so fast and I was only looking to the front and nowhere else.
So, because, there's something that you said about, you don't just take pictures because more the picture.
Yeah.
But we don't understand the message behind the picture. And that's why you need to understand art to say what is it saying. And,
that is true.
But bra, o tla go se re tu. Dilo tseo do tsena jang like picture get picture. Growing in the village, ne gona le malome a tlang ka bicycle.
I know.
A tla re shoot the picture. A re dia bua. And if my already as a mo patel. Re tla ba go next door di bua ra tsa rena.
I do. Yeah, that's that.
You to have imagined yourself out of that. What can you not tell a child that is listening to us from Serutube, from Tzitzing, from Manzere, from Buluini in Malamlele, to say, what is it that you did with yourself in order for you to constantly think outside of the collective?
Yeah, no, I always say to people, Kerry, almost everyone that you see on TV or almost everyone that you see having an exhibition in Berlin, in Germany or anywhere, they were not born in Sandton. They were not born in this fancy, places. They were born in villages. And they knew from the onset that they wanted to achieve. An artist gets born and they strive so hard to actually live that particular, dream because it is a very difficult one where people now say, why would you want to go act on TV? Why would you want to go, become a video specialist? It's what people think because they think that you can easily get a camera and then you can just, light it on and then boom. It takes more than that. It lies within you. There is a spark within you that you yourself can only light.
But how do I find it? I'm a child. I don't know these things. I'm not exposed to these things.
No, I understand.
Myself. What are the habits that I must at least then develop in myself in order for me to say, so that I can detect the spark inside of me?
I think with me was because I loved reading, I loved writing, and I ensured that
So that's a habit.
yes,
Reading and
yes,
writing.
yeah. I read a lot, and I remember at one stage there was a campaign go South African Post Office, yeah, the pen pal,
What's post office, man?
I know.
That thing is not.
No, but I'm.
Ronama 2018 that
I know, social media and AIs. Yeah, it's okay. So we used to write letters to one another. So I used to have friends all over the country in Botswana. So maybe that's where my love for different things came from.
I think you mentioned reading.
Yes.
And it's one, I mean, like last week I had an author here in the studio, a local author, and Huitson. And there's another book that he wrote, which was very dear to me. It's about a teenage boy.
Yeah.
Say a young boy, you are valuable.
I know the book.
Yeah. And I immediately bought all his books, but that one I immediately gave it to my son.
Yeah.
And I said my son must read that book because I equate every part of our body to a muscle. So even our mind is a muscle.
Yeah,
if you don't train it, it doesn't get strong.
Exactly.
And the only way to train your mind is to feed it information.
No, definitely.
The only way to feed it information is to read.
Yeah, true. And
consume information.
And to add on to that, the thing is, I think a lot of us get derailed because you leave knowing that there is something called poverty, and the more people tell you that there is poverty, your mind absorbs that
and believe that,
and they do believe that
it's not bad for it to happen to you.
Exactly. You just mentioned earlier to say something earlier. You said, Rona, as black people, we knew that as long as 12.5 yabubi, you have the food. Yeah. And Rona, during our era, the next door neighbors was there. They were there. So we removed this poverty thing. We don't know poverty, but Rona, our minds absorb the negativity. The more you read positive things, stories that change lives, your mind will tell you that you can actually change where you are to actually go to where you want to be. So reading is very important because it actually sparks something in you that you never knew that existed.
Oh wow! But today we are having your child. We are having Theron from Linthe. The show today is brought to you by Linthe Premium Gin.
Yes.
Premium. I'm say a feast here. No, so it's brought to you by Linthe Premium Gin. It's brought to you by Pyramid Group Funerals. It's brought to you by the Business Lounge. So the Business Lounge is an entity on its own now. It sponsors itself.
Oh wow!
Self-sponsored, internal. And then now all the moments are captured and brought to you very clear and vivid by Just Trey. Your boy Just Trey. So if you wanna see his work, look at our YouTube channel. Look at all the content that Pyramid Group puts out. That's his job. So we're going on an ad break now, and then I'm bringing your child back. No, the next segment can go. See guys. Welcome back, Bujanala. Welcome back, South Africa. Welcome back, Africa. Africa in particular. So now you're schooled. You understood that you wanna be paving something that take me through the 2 years of staying home, because that can do something mentally to somebody.
Yeah, true.
Because one of our strengths and our weaknesses are in our minds. Most of them.
Yeah.
Because we get defeated in our minds and we think the world has defeated us. When now the bazaar was there, you could not get the space.
Yeah.
Psychologically, what did that do to you?
Imagine you are leaving matric, everyone is excited. You apply, you don't get called to say there is space for you. Yet you have a bursary letter that says you can go to any institution to study whatever it is that you want. All of my friends, they leave for university. That was very hard. But I think I decided to shift my focus and actually do a lot of reading and writing, because that was the time where I was doing a lot of reading and writing. And I used to visit the Rustenburg Library a lot. I remember they have a music section where I subscribed with the music section, and I think that's where my love for classic and
we've got Apple iStore, bro.
no, then there was nothing like that.
No, I don't know.
Yes, that was in 2004. So no, that was you were 4 years old then. Yeah, so so I shifted that listening to music and trying to to remain sane, for the sake of what is it that I wanted to achieve. And it's the first year. My mother is worried, she's like, eh, cookie. And it's not even that. It was even worse to say, Waka wile wa go setse. So it was that thing, she felt under pressure, to say, Ish, nagara bantu ile anung, why waka asetse, and I always said to her, do you understand what I'm saying? But, no, but she's not saying that now. She's singing a different song. No, it is not hell. It is not hell. And that first year, I still remember it was one of the hardest years. And it was a year after I lost my father. So I had only one side to actually take. No. I could not. Exactly. I know. But it was not that, Gentle. I think it was more to do with the hunger for a dream. When you have a dream in your mind, nothing can stop you. Whether you are a little child or you are old, a dream is a dream, And the second year, it happens again, but this time around, it's the other way, Now the confirmation Yabulwe comes in. No, there's no way. No. Why is it happening like this? No, we must go see Mutu and no. No. It does not work like that. I'm one person that can compose myself and do what I believe is right for me. And at that particular age, I think I was 19 then, I had said to my mother, no.
From 16 to 19.
Never. I said to her, this is my last year at home. Next year, I'm going to school. And I'm not going to Pretoria. I'm not going to go to Joburg. I'm going to go far. And far because I want to move away from home so that it actually pushes me to work hard so that I can come back home and do what is, expected of me by you as my family. Because we have this thing in our black families where, our parents then, they expected you must change how things are at home and all that. And in actual fact, that's exactly why I was working hard, because the background at home was very hard and unpleasant. But then I think around November 2005, I said, this is it, because that's when I got my acceptance letter. I said, Mama, I'm moving. I'm going to stay in Durban from January. And she was like, for how long? I was like, it takes 3 years, but it can be more if you fail. Who? Yeah. So, that year, my mother looked at me and said, you are different. An opportunity ya mine because of these challenges, and they kept coming, to say, this learnership, metric, you can go to them. And I said, no, that is not me, and that's not who I am. So that's how things were for the 2 years, and I think those 2 years are the actual foundation years for me, because it was the time where I laid a solid base for my future.
And we're gonna talk about that, because I want us to, when we now zoom into what this business show is about, which is about the business part of you, is how much did that prepare you for that? Because more often we don't understand that the things that we go through, they are not necessarily for that moment. They are a preparation
for
a later part.
That is true.
Because Mudimu had for something. Leona Agar Mudimu knows where I'm gonna be tomorrow.
Yes.
So Mudimu will put obstacle or will put good things for me in order to prepare me for my table. Agar Mudimu tla prepare tafula ya how Mupilia di
yes.
but the preparation is not on the day of eating.
That is true.
And more often we don't understand that part. And then that's why we don't want to understand. No, there's the new word which is used, and it's used on socials, and it's more diluted. We don't trust the process. But if we were to dig deep and understand that what trusting the process means, it means not being accepted the first time with the buzzer.
Yeah, that is true.
Not being accepted the second year because it was building a character. So you were still in university.
Yeah.
But a different type of university.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't want to recognize. And with the privilege of hindsight now, we can be sitting here and look at it.
Yeah.
But ours is to encourage a kid now that is listening to us to say, find a means to interpret what you are going through.
Yes.
Because lack of interpretation of what you're going through, that makes you lose hope.
Yeah,
Because
true.
it might be something that a mentor had passed through.
Yeah, and I always say when I talk to the young ones, I always say to them, what you are going through currently does not constitute your future. In actual fact, what you are going through, if it is something negative, you must work hard into turning it into positive so that it can actually point you to the right direction, which is where you want to be. Because now you're going to sulk and say, I did not get the bursary, I have the space, you know what, let me just leave that and look for something else. It was those tests that come with life. Are you strong enough to stand those tests? Otherwise, I would have said, let me just go to the mine. I will have failed because that is not what I want. And in most cases, that's why a lot of people take risks and say, let me try this, and they fail because that's not who they are and that's not what they want to achieve.
Yep. No, I took a risk with TLC. I failed because that's not who I am. For my line of business. Now, you land in Cape Town. You're in Durban.
In Durban, yeah.
So you land in Durban. Here you are. And you went there for a degree, Chief.
Yeah.
And when you come pregnant, you come back with more than what we sent you to school for. As I get what it takes a village to raise a child.
Oh, no, definitely.
Now you went there, now you come back. What's happening?
I don't know the type of pregnancy you're talking to.
It's funny too if you don't know. But yeah, there was pregnancy there. Take me through it. Now there is Ulinda. Linda ungenapi. Litsonakile litsena ko skolong. Akere la realo ga tsena go. But on a fun note, no, on a tribalistic note, Kiyu, a guy from Northwest that can never even speak a proper Tswana. If he can speak some, he speaks Pafanaka law. That he had Maluma Haibua because he's never been close to the mine. And Mlindo Siki, you happy today is the day of love, bro.
I know.
We are blending business with love.
Yeah.
Now Mlindo Si don't love her.
Okay. It's unfortunate. He would have loved to be here, but he had to remain back home after our holiday last week. So I actually wanted to call him, but he talks about load shedding and all that. So his signal is quite bad. But anyway, in 2006, when I started Go Durban, Linda was actually doing his Bachelor of Arts in Music, specializing in jazz. No.
Let me go help him.
But
we know what to.
No, we did not talk then. We didn't even talk then. It was
you took advantage.
No, it did not. And then I come back home and I try relationships and all that. Only a few years later, he resurfaces, and he resurfaces at a very important time of my life when I lose my sister, because 2017 was a very bad year for me. I lost a very dear soul to me, which was my sister. She got burnt and then she died. And may her soul rest in peace. And then Linda got burnt, and I didn't know that. And for the entire time, I couldn't come to terms with the fact that I lost someone just because I didn't understand the impact that can, that comes with, burning and all that. Linda was actually my psychologist, in, finding closure. And after that, I can't remember anything beyond him and myself, loving each other. We started loving each other, and it was that thing, ya gore, you know what, let's try this thing and see where it leads us. And 4 years down the line, here we are, and we can see a lot of sparks and success ahead of us.
So not only were you guys brave to go into because as two people, when you go into a relationship, it's a brave decision.
Yeah.
Because it's a different two characters that were trying to unite in a middle ground that is called love.
Yeah.
Right? Now, not only you were brave enough for that, you took it further.
Yeah.
You took it further and say, actually, we can be in business.
Yes.
Hey, that's bold, bro.
I know.
I can't do that.
I know.
No, I can't. Like, yo.
I know.
Why? When did you conceive this idea together? Where did it come from? Like for you guys now to say, we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna be in business to start with.
Yeah. When you're in a relationship, you talk about everything, and I think the most important thing remains the future.
Yeah.
You don't see yourself as a couple that lasted for a year. You see yourself as lifetime partners.
Yeah.
And I think the spark that came was because there is open communication. We communicate about a lot of things, Linda is the opposite of me, Naka ipapel, I'm the loudest.
Now you are Chris.
I know, Linda is the opposite of me, like a total opposite. Linda is more, towards the subtle character. He does not, he speaks when he has to and all that. So it was one time when, we were sitting, and then he said, I once had an idea of having my own alcohol brand. And I'm like, I also had an idea of having an alcohol brand. And I thought he was lying. And then he took out his phone and showed me his mock-up of a bottle of a gin. And I took a phone and showed him a mock-up of my bottle of a gin. And I was like, God, this is the right person that I've been waiting for all my life. And we said, you know what? We are giving birth to this no matter what. It actually took us 6-7 months to actually produce this and put it onto the shelves.
Wow. Now, I told you that I'm a chemist, right?
Okay.
I did analytical chemistry.
Yeah, I know where you're going with that.
And then I went from... I went to Vestec, like 2000. I went to Vestec.
Not UJ.
No, UJ is for the new people.
Oh, yeah.
When I want my transcripts, she was struggling to get my transcript the last time. Like, they had to go dig in archives and say, we can only give them to you physically.
Maybe no fate.
Chief, I was very important and very good in this book thing. So,
yeah.
More people, when it comes to gins, and everything, and that's why we see everybody, almost everyone, doing some sort of an alcohol thing and alcohol thing. Define the business, because I want people to understand the difference.
Okay.
No, because you mentioned this
distiller, yeah. So basically, this is what you do. When you get into the alcohol industry, you have your pre-selected, drink-ready drinks, and then you just brand the bottle, and then you call it yours. But with us, we...
So hang on there. Can't choose the same pre-selected law and different branding about it?
It won't be the same.
Also,
it will not definitely be the same.
Also, they will tune it to
you. Yes. Oh, this is what happens. Let's say, for instance, alcohol brand X.
Yeah.
That's the cheaper way of doing it.
Yeah.
By the way, alcohol X will say, you know what? There's an opportunity for you. We can create a nice bottle. I know a lot of wine people who does that, and then all you do is you just pour it inside, and then when you drink that wine and you drink the alcohol X wine, it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. There's literally no difference. Yeah. But with us, you actually go into you actually the variants, not the variants, the botanicals, and then we I'm just, trying to show you, the traditional way of doing things then. Alcohol and but with the processes and technology, it's different. So we actually pick our own botanicals, and then we actually go through the tasting, phases where we say, is this how we want it to taste? No. So with us, we did not want something complicated because there's 580 gin brands in the country, but there's only a few premiums. So what you do is you need to be very, very careful with how you create your own, because that is what is going to separate you from the rest. So it also goes with the packaging. What is it that you are trying to sell? When you say it's premium, does it look premium? And when you say it's premium, it can look premium, but does it taste premium? So it's a back and forth situation where I think we started in September. We didn't like the taste. We had to go the second week. We didn't like the taste.
Because
Believe you me, it takes.
how many verses are you on now? You only have a number.
Obviously you don't consume beyond what is is allowed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with us, I think by November, December, from September we had already gotten our gin. It was something very clean. Nothing tastes like it in the country.
580
Yeah,
count.
yeah, that's us.
So it was very important for you to describe that process, because we need to understand that there is work that has been done behind in order to get
Yes.
this thing there,
Yes.
and it shouldn't be diluted to be saying, oh, it's the same as the what.
No.
Now, we're back on the love story now.
Yes.
This is your child.
Yes.
Remember when I said you conceived something
Yeah.
and you gave birth?
Yeah. No. That's
I
too.
knew slow. That's why I come with you. It's all slow. So I'm a very. That's why my name is Gentle. I'm a very patient person.
I believe so.
So now, you the work dynamics now, because in business this high temper. How do you guys separate? Because the last time you were traveling the world together,
Yeah.
right? But how do you separate the business? Or is there a way? Because but we don't even know that. Do you need to separate it? You need to separate the love from the business.
I think
Relationship from the business.
I think you are right, and I think that was a very good metaphor of being pregnant. Because when you have a child, you want to see the child succeed. And Linda, on the other end, he is more towards the operational side. I'm more towards your PR, marketing, brand management side.
Hang on there. There's something that you said now. It clicks in my mind. And I said the you conceived.
Yeah.
So I cannot separate myself to my partner that we've got a child together in raising the child. So the child cannot be the source of fighting.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. That's basically that, because at the end of the day, our names both appear on the gin.
Yeah.
So everyone has an equal responsibility to make this product work. Imagine if it was Linda who was putting more effort, or if it was Theron putting more effort, then it would be that case, mama or nna or papa or nna. Unfortunately, the gin cannot speak, for itself. But it was that type of I think set up. So the separation and role responsibilities is that when we came up with this, we knew each other's strengths and weaknesses. So we know in the relationship that I talk a lot. So it only makes sense. Yes. Yes.
The full
I'm a very generous person. So people would come to me and say, Theron, can you please sponsor us with 10
Oh,
boxes?
that's something like
Yeah, because Linda is not here. So yeah, because he's the one that is more towards the operation side, supply chain, and all that. So he would be the one taking care of, you know, the ordering processes, releasing of stocks, and all that. So those are our strengths. So we knew that, you know, through our strengths, the business could succeed, and that's how we structured it.
No, wow. And I think if people can listen to this, I think this is one of those episodes that you are listening it to now, but I think people need to revisit it when it drops in order to really consume, because I've got privilege of saying repeat that now.
Yeah.
And so much for it to sink to me. You know, let's now come now. PR.
Yeah.
We get another business
Yeah.
in PR. You told me about photography. You didn't
I
tell
know.
me about PR.
Yeah.
Where is that coming from?
You know, I always say to God, thank you for giving me a multiple mind to actually adapt to almost anything. So from photography, I started and I worked for about 4 or 5 years. 2010, I was working as a public relations assistant during the World Cup. And that's where the love came through. And I was like, I can't just let this slide. You know, I do take good pictures, but I think the market in photography was getting diluted, you know, because a lot of people were coming in, getting into stores, buying cameras. So you come from school.
What just raised them?
I know. So they come through and you as
They
a...
actually have a talent.
No, they
Yeah,
do.
qualification.
No, that's the thing, you know. So there is, it's a debate to say, you know, talent versus, you know, qualification. And I said, you know what, I've done photography for 4 years, and I think it's time for me to venture, you know, and it worked so well for me. You know, it worked so well for me. All these past years, I mean, I have a record. I was working for the Royal Marang Hotel. By the way, that's my name and that's my logo. I
Wow,
can say
you
a
know,
bit
you
of
came
it.
up with them.
Yes, I did.
Highlights, that's a third.
No, I'm telling you. Everyone, they can attest. I'm not even ashamed to say it on air. You know, that's my name. And I was working for Platinum Stars Football Club before it got sold. I was the brand marketing manager there. I mean, I attended a lot of interviews by Robert Marawa. You know, he came to me.
So, how would you interview the great gentleman?
Oh, please, I'm not even close to that. You know, so the PR came in between 2014 and 2017.
Yeah.
And then 2017, that's when I said, you know what, I think this is where I want to lay my head on. And I registered my business then. And since then, I haven't stopped.
So let's talk about, because in most of the time, we all about business, do business, this, but we don't understand the other part to say, PR in business.
Yeah,
How important it is.
it's very important.
Liken it to something in business. Like I have to juggle. I'm in a budgeting session. I have to have a budget for PR.
Yeah.
And I have to buy a pyramid. Now, PR, no, how do you now, as a business person, so that people can understand, so that when we build our businesses, we know. Because the next question that I'm going to ask you, it's your contribution to CSI, your contribution to building other businesses around you.
Yes.
And using your businesses, using the two businesses. How are you contributing positively to other businesses? Which I think it's something that we need to do.
Yeah.
We have to do as society to be able to not use ours to destroy or to do. How do we now use it to? Because it's part of CSI. You're using your time. It's like sitting with a lawyer. You're paying him for his time.
Yeah, true.
And also you sitting and strategizing about PR. It's you actually working because you're using your skill. Your trade
true.
In order to get to that.
Okay. You know, in most cases, a lot of times, organizations, they underlook on the PR side of things. And a lot of times, you know, your PR and marketing department would get, you know, a less budget or not even, you understand. And the good thing is that, with PR, you can actually measure, the amount of work that you've put in, with the results. So I would always say to people that I always present to say, PR, when you are only looking at hash, it's a
Mm-hmm.
now I'm looking at, yes, it's okay. It's okay. You can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But are you aware that that particular PR can actually get you 10 hashes, and it can actually increase, the number of people that you want to attract? Because what you do is you're only looking at one hash. You're not looking at whom you are now selling this hash to. So the PR comes in to say, na, a ke bue ka hash. Ke bua le batho ba o ba tlhokang gore ba kgone gore ba recognize the hash. And it's all up to you to actually understand where I'm coming from, because now as a PR person, my responsibility is to change minds, perceptions, teach, educate, and try to make people understand the importance of multiplying and then making sure that you support a brand for it to actually be a success, because you both need each other. The people need the hash needs the people. So that's basically the principle.
Oh, nice. Now, I'm sitting at home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have budget that I cannot budget that HFL. All right.
Yeah.
I am hearing this show. What positive things that you are doing there with your talent to add in other are you doing something? What's happening? Are you doing something to add in other people scalp? Because what we need to do as humanity, and especially as Black people, because I'm very passionate about Black people, and I think it's because I'm Black. I don't know any other reason.
Yeah.
And it's because I know that ours is our clarion call as Black people is to uplift one another.
No, definitely.
Is to make sure that we get out of that mentality. Is to get out of that mentality. You're not like other Black people.
Yeah.
It's for us to start to realize that that's an insult when any other person or whether it's a Black person or a white person, but this thing comes from white people, so we must not be scared. If I go say, if a white person says to you, you're not like other Black people, you must see that as an insult.
Yeah, true.
What are you doing or are you open? Because there's a lot of people that are listening to us that need to be mentored,
definitely.
Because CSI is not only buying shoes and delivering.
No, it's not.
You can actually do CSI in terms of saying, I have got 2 hours of my time, and then I'm gonna be spending that 2 hours of my time with. I'm open to be spending with X amount of people, and then talking about the importance of PR, because I'm out of Facebook. I was told that I'm bad for PR, for pyramid. I had to leave that thing. I'm out of that thing. I'm not there. It's PR. It is
people. PR.
So maybe I'm a child there. I'm busy trolling people in Facebook, but I want to be in business.
Yeah.
I don't know that what I'm doing is working against what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
And for me to understand, what are you doing and what have you done to add in other Black businesses?
Okay. CSI and PR are inseparable, and CSI is winning the people and instilling the brand within those people. It's just that a lot of companies, they don't do it right. They just want to tick a box.
Yeah, it's
with
you don't understand.
Yes.
Because last time,
No.
So give me what you want.
No,
And we go.
that is not CSI. CSI is making a change that is relevant and getting into spaces that you need to get into. Having to give 300 shoes may not be what that particular community needs. CSI, you do a lot of research. You need to understand the surroundings. What is it that you want? The only sector that I know they do this quite right is the mining sector. Mainly because I think of the sensitivity of the sector, because there's high risks in mining and all that. So they win these communities because of that particular reason, because they tap into the relevant spaces. So imagine if now you have to buy a hash, and who are you going to have as clients? Because when all you do is buying hash, you're not trying to win people. You're not trying to make,
Agreed.
you're not doing that. I'm not saying don't buy the hearse. I'm not saying, all I'm saying is this: understand that you can buy many hearses, because the same people that you are making a change in their lives, they're the same people that can come and sign up for a lot of policies under your name. It is easy to win a client, but it should not be by bypassing or shortcut. It must be relevant, and PR, it must be something that comes from the heart, not something that comes from the book to say this year we want to have donated 300 shoes. I'm making an example of shoes because that's exactly what a lot of people are doing now. And you don't understand, even CSI, you take one child to school or to university, that's CSI, and imagine how many more learners within that particular community would want to work hard so that Pyramid can actually notice them and take them to school. So it does not necessarily have to be of a particular scale. It just have to be relevant. You go around, you hear hore go na le ngwana ko motseng ko kana no passing ka di distinctions the 7, but hana bazar. When you are taking a lot of money, you are buying shoes.
To add into more kids that are not going to go to university.
Exactly my point. So that's PR.
So we're telling you,
Tata.
So I normally say this show is very short.
It is.
I normally say it's a starter. It's not. We have not gotten into the meal.
Yeah.
We just touch in the surface of everything, and what we spoke about today is not even close to who you are, what you have achieved, what you have overcome, and the business lessons and everything. And then, unfortunately, this is the time that we have. And I really want to thank you for coming. I really want to thank you for sharing your story. And I've got a challenge for you.
Okay.
I need you to go out and look for CSI that you're going to do.
Okay.
Right? Using both your companies.
Okay.
And then we're going to monitor that as the business lounge.
All right.
And then we want to see a success story out of that, whatever the CSI that you're going to do. And it's not going to be the ones of CSIs that you said of buying shoes. I'm looking for a project that is going to change somebody's life.
All right.
I'm looking for a project that is going to say, this kid now, their lives is changed. But it's okay. Good evening.
You set your standards or you set your boundaries. People are going to say, oh, you think you're all that. I am. And I don't care. I am. And I don't need you to make me feel like I am. I'm going to set this standard, and I'm going to live by this standard. And I'm not going to let anybody come into my life, not even be a business partner, not be a marriage partner, not be a girlfriend, boyfriend, and pull me down to where you are.